outlook for October 19th to October 25th. Actually, October 20th to October 24th. Discounting the Sunday and Saturday that I have here. Let's start out on the economic calendar. Now, Monday, Tuesday, there is nothing. Wednesday, we have a London Killzone pound folder. Thursday, we have nothing. And then Friday, we have PMI for euro, PMI for pound, and then CPI for dollar and PMI for dollar as well on Friday. So everything's on Friday, essentially. Now, what can I say about this? I think CPI, Bureau of Labor Statistics, I think they're affected by the government shutdown. So with that comes the fact that I don't think that most of this dollar news is actually going to release, probably, because of that government shutdown still being in place and probably still being in place next week. So, yeah, take this with a grain of salt. If we do have CPI on Friday, then obviously that's going to be the day where you would expect the cleanest price action. But I'm not sure we will have that. I think the market probably knows we won't have that, so it's not really going to affect it in a way that it's like going to consolidate leading up into it. Anyway, let's pop into dollar. So last week on dollar, we had a bearish week. Inside candle, we tapped into this down close candle here, which is a propulsion block, if anything, more than an order block, and then wicked out of it. And overall, if we look at the daily chart, yeah, what can we say? Well, in my opinion, what we can say is also looking at this weekly chart. We hit CE of this big wick, right? We rejected it here and here. We hit it twice. We cleared out all of these relative equal highs. So like we've taken, I guess, we've taken the bare minimum of what we should have taken, which means potentially we could see a turnaround. Also, we filled this daily gap, or daily BPR to be exact. So my opinion on dollar has changed slightly since the week before, where I was still bullish, expecting price to reach into this high. Now, can we still do that? Yes, we can. Do I think we're necessarily going to do that? I will say I'm unsure. But what I can say for price action is we have this bearish daily gap right here, right, that we had when we displaced, or that we formed when we displaced last week. I will be watching that for bearish continuation. Reason being, bro, with all this like government shutdown shit going on, the dollar, like, on like the not technical, on the fundamental side, this shit is fucking cooked. Like, dollar should be in the barrel, right? But it's just kind of been consolidating. So, what do I think? I think this daily gap here could be an opportunity for dollar to continue lower. If we close above it, I think I would go back to looking at this as a framework of, yes, we might want to push up and then actually take this weekly swing high. But so far, I would say I could see bearishness as well. And then looking at euro, it's basically the same thing as dollar, just obviously flipped. And then same for pound, right? Now, I actually want to quickly pop down into the bonds, because if we are to frame, bullishness on the majors and bearishness on dollar, we want the bonds to support that idea. Now, looking at the bonds have been bullish already. So that supported the idea of a bearish dollar. Now, what did the bonds do? They took out the swing high here, right? Swing high here, and swing high here. So the bonds have already hit a bullish target, right? They swept and they had a pretty substantial reaction. So this really doesn't like do the best to support the idea of bullish majors, but at the same time, you know, the where we're trading right now, like with what's going on in the world, it would not be unexpected for there to be some, falling out of sync between correlated markets. So I guess once again, take this with a grain of salt. And I guess like at the end of the day, bro, since we have these gaps, if they get filled, and I mean pound has already filled it, right? There's not been like a valid trade opportunity on pound from that hourly gap, right? Like this is the daily gap high. We wick into it just slightly, but like there's no valid trade here yet. But once again, like if we get a valid trade, like it's a valid setup. Now, one thing I can say though is going through my data, like 45 trades deep into actually executing the swing model over like the past probably year in total, my win rate on indices is like 68% or like 70, almost pushing 70. My win rate on gold is like 90. Gold and silver, like it's crazy high. But I did also back test gold and silver, and it over like years it's not quite as high. It's more around like 65, 70. But like indices and gold very much line up with what I've back tested. While in the back test, majors have had like, a 60-ish% win rate as well. But translated into actual trading, my win rate on majors is like 35%. And like I've had by far the most trades on these. Like I get way more trades on majors. So I don't know. I feel like majors just isn't as high probability maybe for the past year as it was before then back testing, right? Since like obviously the model is not performing because like it's not like I'm not performing because I just execute the model. So, but hey, I guess that's something to think about as well. That like maybe majors just isn't like super high probability in general for the way I trade right now. And like, maybe to caution myself with it in general. But yeah, anyway, a whole lot of yap. Just to say, I'm watching these daily gaps for a bullish continuation higher. If we end up closing below, I expect a resetting, or not a resetting, but a continuation of that initial bearish move on majors. Anyway, let's move on to indices. Now on indices, we had a huge bearish week with that Friday sell-off the week before last week, and then last week we had basically a recovery week, right? You could say. Jumping down to the daily chart, we can see that huge move down and then kind of consolidating into that daily gap that we ended up leaving on that move down. My bias on indices is bullish. Surprise, surprise. I'm just sticking with the bullishness. I think this is just manipulation, and it's almost like it's too easy at this point. It's like, okay, anytime NQ fucking has a huge crash, just fucking long at the end of the day, and you'll be fucking swimming in money. But I mean, shit. Apparently, like overall, I'd like to see a higher time frame retrace on this, right? Like I really want to see price reach into this monthly gap. But I think with this initial move down of like 1,000 points in a day, this was the chance to do it. Like, not overall, but like, in like the next few weeks. For it to happen in the next few weeks, I think this should have been the chance to do it, and we should have seen like an instant continuation of this, where it just like rips face on the next Monday as well, and then throughout last week it should have just continued lower, but we just consolidated. So with that in mind, okay, it's kind of lagging out here. Hey, okay, we're back. So with that in mind, man, I don't think we're necessarily going to see a push lower next week. I mean, we are still respecting this daily gap, but it's just like not clean at all. And with this reaction from the purge of this swing low here, right, like we wick it and then we just fly higher again at the end of the day, and then same on ES, right? With that in mind, I think on NQ I'd be looking for this down close candle here for us to trade down into it and then push higher off it towards the all-time highs, and then maybe see a new daily gap form higher and then look for a trade there. But yeah, that's kind of my expectation for NQ. So yeah, let's move on to the cleanest of all, gold. The Rip Master. Insane last week, right? Like we just fucking up 10% last week on gold, which is nuts for gold. And then we had it not up 10%, but like moved 10% overall higher last week, and then we had a fat retrace, closing the week up about 6.5%. Now the idea I think on gold is to just look for a continuation until it fails, right? Like there's no reason to doubt a daily gap holding until one actually doesn't hold, because like so far, as you can see if we scroll back a little, like how long is this in days? 58 days. So for the past 2 months, we really have not, we've just been bullish straight up. Like we've had a few small retracements, minor retracements, but like overall we've just been bullish. So yeah, there's no reason to doubt that. Yeah, last week we pushed completely bullish, and then on Friday we had a big down close candle reaching into this daily gap. We have daily SMT where silver reached below Wednesday's low, right, and Q didn't, and then dropping down to the happening time frame, which is the hourly chart. We have our daily SMT marked out, we have our daily key level that we hit, and we already have an initial reaction. Now, my issue with this is in order for us to take a trade, we need to see something like that, right? Obviously, because we don't have an order block in here. Unfortunately, I think that it's going to do something like this. Like, I would not be surprised at all if on Monday we just, like, wake up and we're already almost in the external here. Like, right? Like, I would not be surprised at all. But, yeah. I mean, I hope we go here first, and then we go here. But if we just go here instantly, like, I would not be surprised. Right? And this is, like, almost pattern trading, but, like, literally. And I think I showed this last week, right? It starts here, where, or does it? I guess it starts also here, but this was a Monday bank holiday, but we have a Monday low of the week on this weekly candle. Then we have a Monday low of the week on this weekly candle. We don't have a Monday low of the week here, but we do have an initial rally off Monday on that week as well. Then we have a Monday low of the week here, a Monday low of the week here, a Monday low of the week here. Also, if you notice something, the biggest candles here, right? This one, Monday, this one, Monday, this one, Monday. And then the next huge candle is a Monday as well. So like Mondays just rip, like consistently like 2% higher on a Monday. So, you know, that'd be like this. So yeah, with that in mind, I'm looking for hopefully an entry on Monday. I mean, maybe we can get like an Asia session sweep, and then, or like a resweep of this low, and then we can look for something, hopefully. But yeah, I would not honestly have my expectations too high on finding a trade. I think it might just rip. I think with gold at the moment, it kind of has to almost give the setup on the initial drop. Like it would have to have a valid order block here. Like if this were an up close candle somehow, and then we had like 2 down close, and then we push above it, like type shit. But anyway, I guess that's the outlook. Probably a little yappy and like mixed up in that outlook, but I think the overall idea of where every market is expected to go still comes across nicely. So yeah,